on this planet there are no miracles. We have to face the truth, however dark it is and however bleak it may look. We have to face it.
Arav never called us Mama, Papa or Dada. That is the first thing we realized. He was 2 and we hadn't heard that from him.
I was doing my studies and I was into a department which was highly, pressure was there. Me and his father, Ame, had planned our future and we thought that everything is on the right track. We both are in the topmost professional endeavors and yes, we have a child and I had many dreams. Like I would talk with him, I would tell him stories, he would communicate. I had always dreamt of interacting with him with so many new things on different topics and and understanding him, knowing his views, talking about each other's views. That was my dream.
He was 2.5 years. I put him in play school and I asked the teacher there. The same thing, he was not playing with the kids. He would be in his own world and he would not respond. If I am calling him Vivek, he would not turn around and look at me. He is not like the other kids. He is different.
His movements were pretty unique and they were not ordinary. So I did suspect that because having read something about autism way back in 2008, I did suspect that he did have this.
Kritik on to one school, Universal High School. There he completed his senior KG and they say no, he's not age appropriate. So we can't promote him to first standard. Why don't you repeat? Initially, I was not into repeating it. I said, why to waste his 1 year? So, but she said, ahead he'll face problem, he won't understand. So I thought, okay, let's repeat his class. So you won't believe, even after end of that repeating year also, she said, again he's not up to that mark. So why don't you repeat again? They also suggested me, why don't you go to some doctor? So I went to IPL. They were not able to diagnose him also properly. They said he's ADHD. I thought maybe he might be hyperactive, so they are telling him that way.
Arav couldn't communicate with him, that is what we realized. So he wouldn't look at us in the eye. He wouldn't look at others in the eye. So he would play around all by himself. These were the first signs that we thought we should get a consult from a developmental pediatrician. So that is when we suspected autism or some developmental abnormality.
I didn't know anything. I thought that autistic is like, you call mentally retarded people are called autistic. I had simply no idea about autism. But yes, when the doctor asked that, does he like to move in circles and a few things about, autistic kids, I found that they were all there in him.
Like I said before, it amounts to, it always happens with someone else and not with us, until that feeling sinks in, and then it kicks. It's like a kick in the stomach.
My husband telling me, you're not understanding, it is like he tried to show me what the future of Vivek is going to be, how he is going to be as an adult. You have your doubts, but when you get to know, that's confirmed that your child is different, and something like this has a lifelong implication.
Parents don't accept any wrong thing or in child. So same it was with me also. I'd put him in nursery, and there usually nowadays the teacher don't start with the typical method of teaching like ABCD. They start with the letters which has standing lines. So they had started with L and T. So every day I used to sit with him and I used to teach him L and T, and you won't believe, I taught him for almost 3 to 4 months. And yet he was not able to recognize what is L and what is T, and he was not able to write. And even while teaching him colors, whenever I used to show him a red color, instead of saying red, he used to say apple. Whenever I used to show him yellow, he used to say banana. So he was not able to say color, but he used to relate the color of that object, and he used to say that.
When we found out that Arav had autism, I think that day we were shattered. We cried a lot. I still remember the entire family. It was around 2 days. We spent in great grief. It took us some time to realize that our son was diagnosed with something which we didn't know how we would deal with.
He could not even say state his basic needs. So I used to wonder, will he be able to state his basic needs? If he's hungry, thirsty, he wants to go out, he wants to go to the bathroom, he wants to do something, how will we come to know?
So with that news, it was a thunderbolt, actually. And it was something, first we thought that this is not possible. How come it happened? And then finally, when we were given the diagnosis, we were in grief. Then first thing I thought in that situation also was about help. Whom can I look forward for help in this aspect?
As a parent, everything is a first experience. And for me, Kritik was such a child. I was experiencing so many new things. I didn't know also anything.
Many people come and tell me, oh, your son is autistic, I understand. They don't understand because they have not been through it. I have been through it, so I can say with confidence that I understand. There have been occasions when I was standing on Borivali platform, I was catching a Shadabdi to Surat. There was this kid who was erratic. He was playing with my suitcase and his grandparents were telling him no. I looked at that kid for 15 seconds and I knew that he was autistic. He was non-verbose, unlike my child. So I told them, let him play. It's okay. He just played with my suitcase for about 2 minutes and gave it back to me. They came to me and how do you know that child is autistic? I said, because I'm the father of an autistic child.
In our case, I had accepted that my son is going to be different and I need to accept that. And Rajesh expected, like, even though he was the one who suspected before me that he is autistic, but he had this like, maybe some miracle will happen and he'll get okay. So he took me to a lot of this people, कोई ये बाबा के पास चलते हैं, उसके मंदिर चलते हैं, यहाँ चलते हैं. For it all to sink in that he is going to be different took some time.
they have told me, you do this puja, you ask him to, you take him there. So this all also, I have tried this also. Because I feel, okay, if whatever works for him, I'm going to do that. Because in the end of the day, I shouldn't feel I have not done for Kritik or something. Somewhere I'm short of something.
We did not go on any pilgrimages, nor did we do any. We were suggested. Several family members said that you should have a puja in your home, a havan home, several things. But we did not do that. We started to work on him from day 2.
We had hope, we had faith in God, but yes, we both knew, our family knew, and we had a great support from grandparents. Yes, without their support, it wasn't possible.
So the early signs for the autism that the parent should be looking at is a kind of lot of repetitive behavior which is not meaningful. For example, if constant flapping of hands a child does, so this is that. The child is constantly pacing up and down in the room, the constantly rocking of the child, constantly spinning of the child. So these are certain behaviors which are very repetitive and which are not necessary and not meaningful. The second would be delayed speech.
We suspected certain changes in Arav, which we wouldn't otherwise have. If the diagnosis would have been quite delayed, if you wouldn't have been able to pick certain things. So we had an early diagnosis.
The initial phase was that of disbelief, running around to various doctors, looking for cures, looking up the net, understanding what this is all about.
And immediately the next step was getting aware and educated about. We wanted to go in a very scientific way. Being doctors, we were clear on that.
And secondly, being from the medical profession, we knew that if we work on him, there is a possibility that it would turn out to be great in the long run.
Parents are noticing early signs of autism, I would say immediately visit a developmental pediatrician, not a regular pediatrician, a developmental pediatrician who will be able to catch these signs faster and refer you to the particular therapies that he requires.
And I started keeping short-term goals, like help him to, get toilet trained, start small things like his eating habits, whatever. And I started going to a center there, and we started an early intervention thing. I realized that I need to keep him busy, and I started doing, first was to get his attention.
We started with training program. We both educated. We used to attend workshops. We read books on that. So we had a plan. Then we started acting out. And when we started acting out, even Ame, he had shifted. He had shifted the location. He came back. He used to spend a lot of time. So initial journey was, most of the time, it was negative things. Most of the times we used to try, fail. Try, fail. And then suddenly we saw that he's showing some changes. So what change it made was, we had always worked for getting results. We always had goal-oriented. Okay, for exam, to top the exam, we are doing this. To excel in this one skill, we are doing this. But now our goals were very short-term, and they were very small goals. So finding happiness in very small things and getting excited and so happy over achieving so small things. So that made our journey beautiful. Even a small thing, it would happen, like Arav would say by himself spontaneously, I want something, would be a party at home.
The journey has been full of challenges. It has been beautiful because you've seen Arav grow from somebody who wouldn't even say a word to somebody who is trying to communicate. For me personally, it has been a great amount of learning because it has changed me into being somebody who is more patient. There are people who have disabilities who take some time to learn, but they are able to do it. Arav couldn't do certain things, but he's still young, he's just 5, but there are certain things that he has learned over a period of time.
The attitude of aiming at the sky hasn't changed. I still do that. Only the way has changed.
The first issue is trying to communicate with him. He was non-verbal till the age of 5.5. He could hardly speak 2-3 words. We took him to these special education centers. He started picking up words. And slowly that built up into a large vocabulary. And today he can at least be verbose with what his needs are.
He pushed me to my limit, where I could find out more and more things of how I could help this boy. I had to give him vocabulary. So, and I was not a language therapist. So I had some very, very ordinary black and white cards. So I made use of those cards and I said, okay, let me start giving him vocabulary so that he starts, at least there's something going inside and I need some basis to start my work.
When he started studying with his special educator, it was like, Mama, you please go, I need to do. She said, I've never come across a child who just comes in and just wants to, give me, like, she said the first thing was like, he was ready to take in.
And in the first week, he picked up 60 words. And I said, whoa, really great.
I have been working with Arav since I think 1.5 years. He has shown a great progress, I would say, and especially because it's a team approach wherein the parents are working together, the school is working, and the therapy is working.
I used to think what way I can make him understand. Like lots of things. One example I'll say is how the earth revolves around the sun. So I just made him stand and I told him, you're sun and I'm earth. And I was standing and I was revolving. So I told him, see, now I'm facing you. That means this part is day and my back is night. So I was little more patiently handling him.
What we had to do is we had to go into his world. So I used to observe him. He liked jumping. He liked going up and down. So what I used to do is I used to take him to up and take him up. And then again I used to get him down. So gradually I used to turn him and make him face me so that he gives me some eye contact. Then I introduced our up. Then I used to add on words, going up. These are called as people games. So the games are something where people have to interact. There are no toys.
Any activity or any thing that is difficult for him, he would want to escape by saying water or by saying dada. These are his two very, very common behaviors, and dada is because he's everybody else is villain for him apart from dada, because dada gives him everything.
I used to take him to remedial classes. Miss Mitali Purohit, she introduced me to Mr. Jude. She said, why don't you try music for Kriti? I said, fine, I'll do that.
So when these autistic students actually come to us, we do a lot of assessment. We place them on instruments which probably fascinates them. So probably an octopad fascinates some of the students. It could be a drum that would fascinate. It could be just a gungru, or it could be just a shaker. Or they just love to have a thrill on the keyboard.
So we started off with keyboard. He had picked up keyboard also. He used to do it nicely. Then Jude sir said, we can try singing with him. I said, fine. I'm ready to take anything, whatever he wants to do, I have no objection. You can go ahead with that. So I started singing, and he was enjoying his singing also.
ज़माना देखा सारा, ये सब का सारा, ये दिल ही हमारा हुआ किसी का, सफर में है ये बंजारा, न जाने किस में आएगा.
With music, he'll start learning keyboard. Initially, he was not that keen, because the thing was not, he didn't have that tolerance or whatever. After some time, he started enjoying it.
We start off with rhymes with them. We take a little patriotic songs with them, because that's the school syllabus if they are in school, if they are a little smaller. For the bigger ones, we ask them which songs they like.
Whenever you give him a new tune to play, he's totally engrossed. You don't have to tell him to Vivek, sit straight or posture or anything. He is totally involved.
He had met with an accident when his occupation therapy was going on, physical activity. He was riding his cycle. He fell from cycle and he broke his front tooth. And he was not well. So he had his music class. So I just asked him, Pritik, you want to go to your music class? He said, yes, I want to go to my music class. So he doesn't want to miss his music class at any cost.
I was surprised. I never expected him to play the keyboard, but he picked up a lot with his music teachers, and that showed that even these people also have some amount of abilities in them. It's just that they cannot speak and have a conversation like we are having right now.
His confidence level had gone so down, he was not talking to anyone. So now, because of learning to music, he had done stage shows also. So I can feel that confidence level has boosted. Like he can go, he can talk to anyone now.
We do shows where we allow them to come on stage and perform. And the process of that journey is quite difficult, because there's a lot of coordination that we have to do with the parents, especially with their mood swings. Their behavioral patterns are different when they see other students also playing instruments and things like that. There's a lot of noise. Some of them don't like noise, so they will just do something like that. They would probably push each other, or suddenly the mood changes and you can see a berserkness and a distractive atmosphere.
He had to play at a concert, and I forgot the notes. So I explained my dilemma that I've forgotten the notes and you have to go on stage, and can you play without the notes? And he did it. Like he said, okay, and he didn't create a fuss. He was playing and he had forgotten the notes and was looking at me, and I kept telling, keep playing, and he did that. And it was a proud moment. It was much more proud than he had performed very well on the stage.
In his play school, he was in nursery, and there was this annual gathering function, and there was a dance. Dance practice was going on. So Arav never used to participate in that dance. So till the last 2 days, he never entered into that practice session. He always used to stand by the side and observe it. But during those days, we observed at home, he used to see his image in the TV, and he used to do some movements, dancing movements. Last 2 days, he went for the practice, and suddenly in the gathering, we saw he almost did all the actions which other kids were doing. So then we came to know he wanted to participate. He was taking visual cues. He was building up a visual memory. So he used to stand and observe the kids. And then at home, he used to practice himself, and he performed well.
He's just 5, he's dealing with several challenges, but he just accepts them. Whether it is swimming, whether it is learning cycling, whether it is learning his music now, several things, but that's what he does. He's always happy, unless, as I said, something that's troubling him.
He liked water, so he used to sit in bathtub for hours. And he liked a lot of movements. So we thought, why not try swimming? So now that is something which is replacing his regular exercise, water play activities. he used to do in the bathroom or at home. He used to spill water here and there. All the activities have transformed into swimming, which he learned well.
He likes all outdoor activities with me. Every day morning for the last 3 months, he is taking me in the morning for my morning walks and he runs.
What I've seen is he sets his own milestones. Like, if he's able to do this, he'll try and do something. Like, if he's learned bicycle, then he would go between the cars, like zigzag manner, and try to maintain his balance. Then, when he could do that, then I saw him that he was riding on the edge of a drain without, falling.
He likes his national flag. Anything that has to do with his national flag just excites him. So he would keep drawing the national flag, all kinds of songs that are related to the national flag. I mean, the national flag excites him tremendously.
We call him Holiday Kumar because he loves going on holiday. He loves planning. So talking about his likes, he goes to the iPad, goes into the calendar, will make a particular entry. I'll go to eat this restaurant, I will go here, I'll eat this, I'll eat that. He loves drives, but he loves drives at night. He loves to see the lights at night.
I remember once he planned 6 months in advance. Then on a particular December Saturday, he will go to Marine Drive with me only in a local train. But till that time, he had never traveled in a local train. So he made a plan that I'll eat dosa. So it was eat dosa, more dosa, more dosa, more dosa, more dosa, last dosa, like 6 dosas he wanted to eat. So it was like that also must been like, timing for that. So the whole thing, like he would go in an auto rickshaw, he will listen to this music, or at home he'll watch this movie. So it was minute by minute planning till the night. And he really enjoys planning for something. Like if I tell him in advance, in fact, he gets so excited that he can't sleep. When I taught him how to see dates and months and years about calendar, he got fascinated. And in his pastime, he would just flip through, calendar. He's very fond of making plans that certain date, December, we'll do this. And he'll make a plan from the moment when he is going to wake up till the point when he is going to sleep. I realized that he remembers the days and dates. So if I asked him, Vivek, what is the day 3 years from now on a certain date, he's able to tell. So it is a kind of a favorite pastime with my nieces. They keep asking him, Vivek, what is the day on this certain date?
So what we have seen is that I asked him questions on Diwali 2019, when is Diwali 2018, when was Diwali 2017 or 16 for that matter. But I think he has some kind of a photographic memory wherein he is able to recollect all the times, dates and events in terms of calendars.
What Arav also likes is people, which is very unusual for an autistic kid because autism means that you want to be within yourself. Arav is very unlike that.
He doesn't like animals. He's in fact has a avian phobia, but like he's very scared of birds. Like if there is a parrot or you have your pigeons making a sound outside, he'll come out running to me and ask them to shoot away.
He was very upset with the sounds that the animals made. He's not friendly with animals. He's not friendly with dogs. He's not friendly with cats. He hates animals. He doesn't like birds at all.
I tried showing him pet dogs. There are people who do pet therapy. I had taken him to a pet therapist. There was a trained dog who they would allow him to cuddle and but Arav wasn't fine. I tried it in a different setting also. There was a pet dog with one of my friend's house. but he didn't like it. I tried it on cats also. So he was not comfortable. But however, with horses, yes, because he got to ride on them, and the sir trained him for activities like feeding the horses and giving them a bath, splashing water on them. So somehow he slowly was okay with it.
He was very scared of haircuts. He would be really distressed when we would go for a haircut, and we would let the hair grow, and after 6 months we will have the courage to take him for a haircut. I would sit with him in my lap, and it was like me getting a haircut. Then he would be all tears, he would be crying, and it was really distressing for him.
Places where there are lots of different noises. So if you go to a crowded mall, that is what could be something that would set him off.
Later I realized that when you go to this parlors, they have this hair dryers going on, not on him but on somebody else, and they use this electric blade that vibrates, and that irritates them.
When he was quite young, when he was, I believe, 3.5 years old, there was loud music going on in the mall, and once he entered, he had his hands over his ears, and all he wanted to say was just, let's go back. He just pulled us out of the mall. There's nothing that you could do. You couldn't just wait.
So then I had to hurry up, take him to the billing counter, do the billing at fast. But that time, people used to just stare what this child is doing and what this mother is doing. Can't she handle the child? Instead of that, if they would have helped me, come on, you come front in the billing queue. The child is having a real problem, and let's help the mom to bill and get out of the thing fast. So some help if I would have got, because my child is throwing up, I have a cart with me, and the other person is asking me for feedback at the counter, and they are asking, it becomes a difficult situation.
What Kritik used to do whenever I used to take him to garden or whenever I was with my friends, just go and lie down. And it's like suddenly you're seeing your child is lying on the floor and your friends are just looking at you in a questionable way what the child is doing. And even when I used to go at Kritik, you get up, what are you doing? He used to lie down and he used to cry.
So many times it happens that a single person finds it really difficult. Then you require some help or someone with you, so that if I want to get off the situation, like if I and my husband are there, then Ameya takes him away from the situation and I do the entire process and come out.
Few days back, while Vivek was running in the park, he went and hugged a lady. So that lady complained to my husband that please don't bring your child, and if you are bringing him here, somebody needs to be with him. He's scaring me, and he should not come, he should not be left alone in the park like this.
He doesn't mean any harm, he means love. But not every stranger appreciates it. So then they come and tell me he hugs me, this is the second time he's done it. So then I have to caution him, I have to reprimand him, I have to scold him. As it is, we don't go and hug strangers. It's not allowed, it's not acceptable.
Felt very bad because the problem I don't think is with my son, the problem is with people, because he meant no harm. So we come across a lot of people like this when he's going in the pool and people are like, why is he coming near us or whatever. So I try to educate my own kid that you are not supposed to go and hug strangers.
He doesn't understand. He said, I can hug my father, I can hug my mother, I can hug my friend, I can hug my bade papa. Why can't I hug this person?
So whenever he used to enter in the lift, there would be lot of crowd. So in a small space, so he used to feel claustrophobic at times. And so he used to do this pressure thing or pinching someone, or at times he used to kick. So as parents, we used to avoid that happen, but at times it is always there that you cannot really prevent it. So people used to react in different ways.
Here for me, Vivek, everything is a challenge. Even if I have to stand in a queue, take my boarding pass, then he and me have to stand in a queue and clear security. So then the security, I'll have to signal to him that he's a special child. We'll have to tell him in advance. Then luckily they are also understanding. Otherwise he starts flapping his hands in front of the security, it gives a different signal. But today as a child, people understand. What do you do with adults? So while there is some acceptance of children, but as far as autistic adults are concerned, what are the facilities for them? Where do they go?
Sensitization is important, not just awareness, to understand how to live with these children, because these children, or as they go and become adults and as they get to be a part of the society, they are going to be different, they are going to have certain problems, but they are not less. To understand how they can be assimilated within the large framework of the society is important.
We're teaching him magic words which he has to say. So we all do that. So we have kept it here so that it's a reminder for all of us, all of the family members. Thank you, you're welcome, please, can I, excuse me, etc., etc. Initially, what used to happen is when we used to talk to him, and he probably did not want to do that or did not understand that, he used to just get away and avoid eye contact. And then we used to raise the voice. So that used to again irritate him. So now he knows to say no. As soon as he learned to say no, he found the power of words.
Anger would be stomping his feet. First would be stomping his feet. Lot of crying, lot of screeching and screaming. So these are the certain things probably you will see in any kid, but for him it's quick. It's like as soon as he knows that Shruti, like me, I'm being an occupational therapist, I am asking him to know, you have to do it. I will help you, but no, you have to do it. He immediately starts crying. Then the water, dada. Then I don't want to do it. No. And the language is not helping him. So he's not able to communicate. The anger increases. The anger will come out of his expressions, out of his eyes. You can see the redness on his face. You can experience that, yeah.
We, both of us, love Vivek unconditionally. But there are times when he drives us really mad.
If I deny him that, he can get aggressive with me. Of course, he's a child, so I can always reprimand him. But this gives us some early signs that how to deal with such behavior.
Pratik was my first child. I didn't know, you can say, how to upbring a child, and especially a special child. So I used to remove all that frustration on him. And I used to literally hit him very badly. And then I used to say things which I shouldn't have said that time. Now I realize it and I feel very bad about it.
We'll have to take help of professional therapists to how to deal with aggression in future. He's already as strong as a bull. So he's going to grow taller, he's going to grow stronger. At that point of time, I cannot keep on reprimanding. So maybe we schedule his day in a way that we go as per a plan. Something like that. This is what I can tell him. And then we say that we have agreed to do all this. But if we simply say no, then it becomes very difficult.
There are few habits which have still not gone. Whenever something is too overwhelming for him, or at times he is feeling blank or is in his own self, he does these finger movements, and he in that peripheral vision field he takes his hands, and all over he will see. He will try to avoid eye contact or completely face something which is exactly banging on. As he is getting better into sensory integration wise, the things are decreasing.
He seeks visual stimulus. That is something wherein he will put his hands in front of his eyes, and through the hands that he can see the picture. He would constantly want to see, and then he goes with his eyes towards the side and the corner, and he'll be doing this. So from the corner that he gets that stimulus is very soothing for him. For us, if you want to try, for us it gives a headache.
If an autistic child is not having a great day, he might just be flapping his hands just to calm himself down. We do that. We bite our tongue, we might just bite on our nails, we might just make different faces just to calm ourselves down. What they do is they might flap their hands, they might just move their heads. So to understand that these are just their ways of calming down, it is not, although socially unacceptable for the large population, it's not something that should be considered abnormal. So that sensitization has to be there. Only then these people can be easily accommodated, assimilated into our social framework is what I think.
When some seniors from my husband's company and all, they got to know that my son is like that, I remember only one incident like that. They called up to, Rajesh said that they want to meet me. I said, I'm not available because I was I didn't want sympathy because this was not something like that my son is sick and that you need to come and console me. My son is different. I had accepted that and I didn't need any sympathy there. I have always looked for understanding, and I know people cannot understand. So I try to inform them about autism.
From the society, if you tell, few people just don't know about it. Most of them, in fact, I would say. But when it comes to the peers or school children, maybe, it's not about my son because he's still 5 years old and he's about to go in a bigger school. But it generally occurs that school teacher also, then for every, whatever they do, maybe it may be just a naughty kid or just hanging around, but then everything is labeled on autism. So many times there is tendency. But when a diagnosis is revealed, then everything is looked from that point of view. So more than sympathy, everything is, people at times may become critical also.
Awareness is one thing that is happening slowly. The increasing number I believe, is making us all aware. Along with awareness, I believe there has to be sensitization. People have to understand that being aware of autism is one thing, and living with these people, be it in the school, be it later in the professions that they are going to be there, because there are going to be a lot of autistic children around.
If there are any other disability, like if the child is a Down syndrome or any, they get admission. But the moment people hear autism, they are really reluctant to take them because with autism comes behavior issues. So they are in fact more discriminated against compared to other special children.
In terms of facility, I just want, I don't know what is the reason, but nowadays if you can see, such children are more in number. What is the reason, what exactly is happening, don't know, but I think they should have separate school where you can give maximum facility instead of parent running from so many places, because for speech therapy you go to one place, for music, for this, that. So I feel you should have such center where you have everything, so that future he can think what he wants to do.
They have a difficulty with language, but they can be very good in maths, they can be very good in computers. there are many things they are very good. There are some are very good in different fields like drawing, art and craft, music.
Many of the children are good, intelligent enough in not only other activities like vocational, but even educational activities. And if they are incorporated in a society and it's easy for them to move around, they can in fact do, they have a lot of hyper focus, so they can even do great things. We know Newton, Tesla, Temple Grandin, there are so many. So there's so many people who have done wonders.
But considering the number, I believe there have to be more facilities and available to the entire strata. It's not just the few people who can afford these facilities should get this.
Parent is already going through so many of traumas. Financially also, the parent has to shed out so much of money in terms of therapy, school. So I think somewhere, little bit at least, there should be some government aid also. Okay, see, you're already facing so many things. So this help you can expect from government.
Government should take initiative this because these are the future. So I think political commitment is important. Not only the political commitment, teachers should come. We require good teachers. There is no replacement for a good teacher. So people should come, they should start institutes, start courses, certificate courses where they will be given hands-on training. So that all, not only the shadow teachers, but also special educators in different fields. And they should make special educators for every school because right to education is there for every child.
If you start seeing any signs, don't ignore it because sometimes if you start any therapy at the early age, it will help the child to a greater extent. Because as a parent, you don't understand also. So if any relative or teacher is trying to tell you something, understand what it is.
Most of the times the fear is if I'm gone, if I'm dead, who is going to take care of my kid? Who will be there for my kid? And it's not always possible to have that amount of money to set all the things in place. So parents should feel, okay, there are people who will, support my kid. He will be able to navigate. That assurance can be there only in a aware and active, a society which accepts these kids.
There was a time when I was thinking, okay, if I can't do anything for Kritik, when I'm done, first I'll do something to Kritik, then to myself. There were that time also because I thought the way I can take care of Kritik, no one will understand Kritik.
Every child is different, the symptoms are different. Every range of hyperactivity is different. Every range of inattentiveness is different. Every range of autistic behavior is different. So to deal with that is different. Along with that, there are secondary factors. Is the child able to listen to me properly? Is the child able to reply when I listen? Is the child able to comprehend what I'm saying? Yes, it varies child to child. It has to vary. Apart, there are a lot of other therapies that help, like a music therapy that helps to the kids, aqua therapy that helps kids in all these things. I would say OT is a must for sure. I would tell the parents to join the support groups. These days, there's a lot of denial. That's what the problem is. No, my child is not like that. My child is completely fine. He's just because we didn't pay attention to him earlier. He will learn faster. I would say it's okay for a child to be special because your child will show much higher qualities than a normal child that is. For example, Arav, he is amongst all of us right now here, he is the most cognitive person, I would say. He can think beyond, but there are certain restrictions for him now. Being a child, there are certain behaviors that are not helping him to grow ahead. So I would say, ask the parents not to deny that, but to accept what it is and develop and help the child to move forward with those abilities rather than focusing on the disability that he has.